Got to keep it off. Don't want it to creep back. And boy, I tell you what, comes off slow, but it comes back fast. So you want to keep it off. And they have great classes at Milestone Fitness. It's the neatest place to work out. They have these great nutrition classes, the best in the city, aquatics programs, you name it, it's the best there is. Milestone Fitness, it's the place to lose that weight, feel great, and get yourself going in life.
Let's talk with Dr. Stan Frager, helping you make sense of life's daily challenges and much more on 970 WGTK.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fears without crying. Now I want to understand. Doctor, my eyes.
All right. I'm psychologist Stan Frager. Every Sunday night we get together 8 to 10, talk over things. Unfortunately and sadly, because of 50% of all marriages ending in divorce, let me tell you something. It may not be you going through divorce, but you have children who are going through divorce, or you got grandchildren, or you got a neighbor. And we see this all around us. Don't you think, Dr. Karam, it's sadly more acceptable, and I'm not talking about a religious perspective or anything else, but it used to be families and children of divorce were almost scorned.
Yeah, it was like this idea that parents could have a relationship after divorce was like this pathological idea. No, you shouldn't have. You haven't had contact with each other. You know, it's this break in the relationship. But we know that's not true now. And 1974 was the magic year where divorce replaced death as the most common endpoint to a marriage, and that was because 100, 200 years ago, people weren't living that long. So if you got to midlife and you were discontented in your relationship, you said, well, I don't have that much longer, so I'm just going to hang it out. Now with people living very long lives, if you find yourself unhappy, you can't just stay in a relationship, as we said earlier, just for your children. Also, with the rise of the no-fault divorce and things like that, it's easier to get a divorce. So there's lots more. Like you said, if you haven't been touched by divorce, your friends, your family members probably have. So these children, they're growing up now in a culture that, divorce permeates. So how you get together as a family still goes on. As I said, it's like family 2.0, and you're still a family whether you're divorced or not. It looks different.
Yeah, and what are the kinds of things, what about when a child will sometimes say this, that the other parent is abusing them in some form or another. Dad shouts at me, or he spanks me for no reason at all. How does a parent or mom does the same thing to me? It can be either way. What do you advise a parent does about that? Right.
If you are a parent and your child comes back from a visitation and they're upset and they report, I've been this or that, I think you have to make, you call, again, if you're on speakable terms with your ex, you call, you make sure you understood what happened, and you made sure, is that your son or daughter trying to exploit the situation, or did something really happen there? And then that's sometimes when people get litigious and involve the authorities and lawyers, and they go back to court and they argue for custody. So those are unfortunate situations. I would say one thing that's triggered something for me. When a child comes home from a visitation, that drop off at the end of the weekend, it's like there is anxiety generally for the children and for the parent. The parent to maybe pump the child for information about what it was like or whatever, but that needs to be a transition, a cooling off period. I work with co-parents a lot, divorcing families, on how to have an adjustment from when that child gets dropped off and kind of resumes their normal kind of weekly routine, because sometimes parents try to rush that, and it's a mix of emotions for the child. They just went and had fun with their father. Can they also now come home and be loyal to their father and have kind of regroup with their mom? All those loyalties are split. Everything we've been talking about this hour. So how you handle that adjustment on the visitation schedule is really important too. We talk about that and we do these co-parenting plans.
And again, when the child wants to play one parent against another, how do you help them get past that?
Right. Much like you do probably in an intact family and an intact marriage too, to know that mom and dad love you, but just because you don't get everything you want, divorce or not, doesn't mean mom and dad don't love you. And parents being able to not let their children exploit kind of weaknesses, putting a unified front, again, similar rules and expectations for both households when possible.
And your best advice, we have about a minute left here, when you're seeing couples and they say we're going to go through this divorce, what kind of best tips do you give them?
Right. Well, just like you generally take a lot of planning and an engagement and a wedding and all these things, don't rush through the divorce. And when possible, even though it's illegal, people think we're thinking marriage, they don't really focus the legal aspect of it. That just comes in when it's a divorce that's salient in people's minds. But don't be litigious when you don't have to be. If you can get on the same page.
Don't always keep threatening to sue and call a lawyer about everything.
Right.
When you can avoid all that.
Exactly.
It's great having you with us. Regular visitor to our
Always
Sunday
a pleasure,
nights.
Dr.
Great
Stan.
to have you with us, Dr. Karam. Eli Karam, again, his website, you can find him, ELIKARAM, EliKaram.com. And I'm psychologist Dr. Stan Traeger. Coming up this second hour,